Buckeye Talk back with your game time decisions for Ohio State's game today against Rutgers in Piscataway, New Jersey. Look at us. We're in Columbus recording this and then getting on a plane this morning, like I guess the Concorde, and flying to New Jersey to bring you our game time decisions. I'm Nathan Baird from cleveland.com along with Stephen Means. Just time travel. We've invented time travel. This is our last video because we're going to go get rich off of that. Stephen, our game time decisions are basically like the keys to the game, like the kind of crucial things to keep in mind as this game gets started. Stephen, what do you see as a big game time decision for Ohio State?
I'm interested in the offensive play calling and in how it's ever evolving here. I've talked about it at length. We talked about it in the offseason, whether this offense is more like Dwayne Haskins or it's more like Justin Fields. Not the production, but the actual usage of plays. And one thing we have seen the last couple of weeks is they might be started out uber aggressive, trying to just launch it down the field, but eventually Ryan Day comes to his senses a little bit and starts giving guys easy stuff, RPOs, bubble screens. We saw the jet sweeps last week with Kyle McCord. So it's more just – I wonder how much when you have a quarterback that we assume C.J. Stroud is the starting quarterback on Saturday from what Ryan Day has said this week. I am wondering how often they try that shoulder out and how often do they want to throw deep balls. And when I say deep balls, I mean anything 20 yards or deeper. That's what a deep ball is, most like anything that's 20 yards or deeper. So how often do we see that on Saturday? Or does he just allow the weapons around C.J. Stroud to do all the work again and we get back to some of this yards after the catch stuff where it is bubble screens or it's quick, easy stuff. Maybe you roll them out a little bit, but it's a lot of quick and easy stuff where you'll let these wide receivers do the work for you. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to is just how often do they want to try the explosive play that way in terms of maybe just letting wide receivers use their legs.
You know, we made a lot about the way that they went to some more easy play calls for Kyle McCord as far as passing early on in that game, the jet sweeps. Other side of that coin is, you know what works pretty well? Like a jet sweep to Garrett Wilson. Like it worked really well at Penn State last year. It worked pretty well the other night. Do you think they should mix that in more to the offense regularly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you asked Garrett a couple of weeks ago about those long passes that are basically extended runs. Why not just take the pass out of it and just hand the ball off? Yeah, I do think they can get a little bit more versatile with how they get these weapons the ball. It doesn't always – Chris Olave has shown us this year he's more than just a deep threat. And when they've given him the opportunity to do that. Garrett Wilson's always been more than just a deep threat, and Jackson Smith-Njigba's pretty freaking good as well. I think we need to see some diversification in this offensive play calling, and this is a good time to try to do it against Rutgers.
But they like to catch people off guard with that. That's what they did last year at Penn State, and I think it's a good wrinkle to kind of keep in your back pocket for those moments. I would make it a staple of the offense, especially when you can just hand the ball off to Trevion Henderson. Sure. That works pretty well, too. I'm going to talk a little bit about defense for my game time decision, and it's more about usage. And, a couple of weeks ago, Lathan Ransom was playing cover safety for this team. He was, what used to be the slot cornerback, and was clearly, I thought, one of this team's best 11 players. And now they moved him back to free safety with the Josh Proctor injury and moved some things around, and now that's how Cam Martinez is a starter on this defense. I'm watching Lathan Ransom and how many snaps he plays. Played a lot of snaps against Akron. I want to see, does that transition start to happen more to where they make him one of the 11 best players on this defense again? I want to see guys up front. There are some seniors on this team, at defensive tackle especially, who've gotten a lot of reps over the years, but does Tyleik Williams start to take even more snaps away from them? Does Ty Hamilton start to take even more snaps away from them? I feel like this is still a defense very much in transition. Does J.G. Tuimoloau start to take snaps away from some of the defensive ends, even if everybody's healthy? Tyreek Smith and Javonte Jean-Baptiste and all those guys coming back if they can. Like, do some of these freshmen really start to keep establishing themselves? It's been interesting to watch them kind of break through in this early part of the season, but I still think it's different doing it against Tulsa and Akron than it will be trying to do it at Rutgers. So do they trust those guys, and do those guys keep flashing now that we get back into Big Ten play and have to start playing a high level of competition?
I think that's interesting because last week served as an extended period for those guys to get it. I mean, Lathan Ransom played 44 snaps at free safety. Tyleik Williams got extended action. So this is a good test period for that of they weren't playing a lot before. Then you get a game where you can throw them out there and not really be worried about consequences. Now, is it a thing or was it just you played Akron?
Do those guys become the frontline players, or if not, if they are still more just depth guys, do the frontline players kind of pick things up and start playing at a higher level than they were early in the season when this defense was in trouble? Still a lot of things just kind of in flux for this defense, I feel like, but starting to settle down. You see the foundation kind of being set, and now it's just a matter of kind of building on it week to week, and that's got to start this week against Rutgers because I really feel like that next week against Maryland is one that could be a problem for them if they don't go into that game with everything kind of structured better and people on top of their games. Get the text, 614-350-3315. We'll be texting out status updates, injury updates, what we see in SHT Stadium before the game Saturday morning in New Jersey.